Hey everybody, welcome to our next video in the series of web design review. And I wanted to highlight something that I put up here on there. I decided to put this on before we started recording, so you didn't have to watch me type all of this stuff that I just highlighted. But at the top, one of the things I'd like you to start doing is putting on a comment that describes exactly what the page that you're writing is for. This goes along with the vein, like for example in programming, where you put a comment up at the top and you do this exact same thing, and the comment is a note just to you and to whoever else about why you have the page and what's going on. And this one describes exactly what's going to go on in this particular video. Inside the head, we'll align all the different comments here. And what I did is I just reused the HTML skeleton that we've done previously and added that particular thing in. So this video, what we're going to do is we're going to dive a little bit more into how you would actually go ahead and set your page up using some of the newer HTML5 tags to divide your page into different sections. So all those tags actually are going to go down into the body. So we're going to put this, we're going to start right above our name section. And today I am indeed using Notepad++, which is a good alternative to Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is definitely the better program, however, for free, this is working great for me. So the first tag that we need is this little page setup thing that we have is, I would consider a header for the page. Now in regular websites, for stuff that isn't just for class, there's going to be probably a lot more to this header section. You can do a lot of things inside the header section, like put your social media links, email, contact, phone number, all those different things, which obviously we need none of. So the header section right here is going to include all of our general name stuff. And we're just going to make sure that we indent so it looks a little bit cleaner and it's easier pretty much for me and all other programmers to read. So header is the first section. The second one is going to be the navigation section. So nav. And we will indeed talk a lot more in detail about this particular section. Right now we'll just put we come back because we are indeed going to come back to this section very shortly and talk about how you'd actually build your navigation bar. The next one, there is actually a different tag that you might use. There's a tag that's called main. For some reason, I just don't like to use it. So I just do this div with a class of container, which works out just fine. And then we can put a comment actually in here that says our main content goes here. And then the last one is, as you would have in a paper you're writing, is the footer section. And in here I just usually put my name. Just so there is indeed something in there. Footer, when you get into building a full website, can include links to all your sites, like a sitemap sort of a thing. Again, more contact information. It can do a whole lot of different things. And as you look at different websites, you can see that they use this footer section rather heavily. Again, we're doing review. There's no reason for us to go crazy with this, just a placeholder for now. So those are the different sections of our document. And the other thing that dividing your document like this does is it makes actually writing some CSS a lot easier. So as we go up, under our comment here, we're going to start adding our CSS in. For this, again, what we're going to do is we're going to use that star. And we're going to do a margin of 0. Padding of 0, and then a new one actually, a box sizing of border box. I believe it is there. So that box sizing is going to be one where we'll talk about a little bit differently. It might be all one word. I'm going to have to take a quick check in a moment here to make sure that that is indeed correct. Generally in Dreamweaver, I believe it's that. In Dreamweaver, it'll do that for me. So there's some things that are a downside. And as with all things, if you forget, you can definitely look it up real quick. And W3 Schools is definitely a really decent reference for this. So I was correct, border dash box. We'll just keep that open for later. My fault. So as you can see, definitely it is possible to forget things on occasion. So what you want to do from here is to make sure you don't lose your stuff. Go to File and save this. Make sure that you save this in your folder. So where we are at right now, we are definitely not very far. We just have some of that different stuff, and you can't really see the different sections yet. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of CSS to make sure that we can see our sections just a little bit more. So the first one we're going to do is our header section. Remember, header is indeed a tag. So you can just write header. You don't need to refer to any class or anything, just header. And we're going to go ahead and center our text. And we're going to add just a smidge of padding. We've been doing VH. We'll just do 1 VH and call that good. And what I would definitely encourage you to do as you're doing this is keep this preview open, and you can go and you can just hit that refresh button, and you can see exactly what it is that is changing. And in this case, you can definitely see that it's centered and did all the stuff that it should be doing. 1 VH is not a whole lot, but you can see there's a little bit of space all the way around it like we need. For our navigation, we're going to go and we are going to just give it a background color. And one of my favorites is Rebecca Purple. I don't know why. And a color of white. And then for this one here, we will not add any padding into that because it'll mess things up for later. But you should see there is our Rebecca Purple and white. For our container, so remember that one is a class of container. So we need dot container. We're going to give this a minimum height of, we'll say, 70 VH. Just to make sure that our container, our main section, looks indeed like the main section. And we'll just give this right now a background color of, we'll say, beige. Yes, I believe that would be it. So again, check out what it does. So you see now that we have that beige and my created by me footer thing is at the bottom. And then our last one, of course, is footer rather, sorry. And our footer is going to have first a padding of, we'll say, 3VH. Oops, sorry. And we'll give our footer a background color. We'll give this Rebecca purple again. And then we'll give it a color of white. And when you preview it, it should do its job. There we go. Everything is great. One last thing I forget to add, I apologize, is a width for our container of 75%. And then, of course, our margin of auto to make sure that we indeed center that on the page. So, again, quick preview, real quick preview here. When we refresh it, you see that the container shrinks a little bit, and we have gone and we have changed all of our stuff up, generally formatted our page. So now the thing that we need to review here is our navigation. And as promised, we will definitely come back to that navigation section. So remember, for navigation, goes inside of our nav tag. Navigation is a list of links. So we're going to start our navigation, like most navigation bars, with a UL. And inside our UL, we're just going to put LIs that say my item and close our tag. So remember, for that I did the control click. This particular thing right here is a spectacular example of how that saves you time. So now, if you save that and refresh, you're going to see that that absolutely does not look like any navigation you would want to see. And you can't even, since we took the padding and the margin off, you can't even see the bullet points anymore either, although they are indeed there. So navigation is, if you remember, something that you see on pretty much every website. Navigation, the point of navigation is to link your sites, the pages in your site together. So as you might think, to link things together, you also need the A tag. And to make sure, since we're just demonstrating here, we're going to put a hashtag in as our href. And then we're going to go ahead and close our A tag at the end of the my item. So then we have this right here, a list of links. And you should be able to see when you refresh that now, instead of just having the regular my item, the my item will become underlined and turn actual colors, like blue in this case, which is the default link color. That is definitely not going to work. So let's go ahead and put our CSS on here and fix this up. So the first thing we're going to do for nav, we're going to refer to our UL. So we have to take our list style type and we have to make that none. We definitely don't want the bullet points on there, and that should be about all that we really need for that. Now, if you notice here what we're doing we're now specifying if we ever had any other lists on here, if you just do UL and LI, it's going to affect all your lists. This one right here is going to make it sort of just everything inside of the nav section. We're specifying where we're looking for these tags. So for our LIs, we're going to display them as inline. And then for our LIA, so this is 3 levels in. Nav tags that are LI and an A, we are going to go and we're going to put a display of inline block. We're going to give them a padding of, we'll say, 2VH. Sorry, I don't know why I'm missing that colon. A color of white. And a text decoration of none. So what hopefully will happen now is you'll go and you'll transform this thing, which is our regular list of links, into stuff that lays out a lot nicer and looks much more like you would see on a site for actual navigation. So there's one last step in here. You can tweak the padding, by the way. I don't necessarily like it with 2. I might go a little bit more just to spread things out a little bit. The last thing that we would do, LIA : hover, is change the hover. So generally what I do is I reverse things. So the color will become Rebecca purple, and then the background color will become white. And we can then add the text decoration back in to underline. So we just give you that finished look right there. And let me show you, after you save it, what it should do. When you hover, it'll turn white and purple with a nice underline like that. And that's what your navigation should look like. So every website you see, whether it is using Bootstrap or just straight up HTML, you're all going to have this navigation on there just so you can link your pages together. And this is definitely the way to do it. So that's going to wrap this particular video up right here. Give you one last look at the code, at least this portion of it. And if you have any questions, please do ask.